Someone once put 3 questions to Bob Hoskins. What is the worst job you've ever done?
Super Mario Brothers.
What has been your biggest disappointment?
Super Mario.
Maybe you watched this film as a kid and just kind of went with it. But once you find out what was actually happening behind those cameras, you'll understand exactly why he said that. These are 17 secrets behind the 1993 Super Mario Bros. Movie. Number 17. Let's start with the injuries, because that's where this story lives. See, Leguizamo had never actually driven a large vehicle. During a van scene, he gunned the engine and braked too hard. The door flew open and slammed into Hoskins' hand.
I didn't get hurt as much as Bob did. And I felt terrible. I thought, maybe I should just hurt myself. I should go to the trail. Maybe I should, break my hand on purpose or something. Or trip and hurt my face.
The crew's solution? Paint his finger cast pink and tape prop weapons to his hand for the rest of the shoot. I mean, nothing says prestige blockbuster like taping a prop gun to a man's broken hand and calling it a day, right? If you go back and watch the scenes in the second half of the film, look at Hoskins' right hand. You can actually see the outline of the cast under the costume. It's right there if you know to look. Hoskins later said, "I got stabbed 4 times, electrocuted, broke a finger, nearly got drowned, and that's just what happened to me."
I got stabbed 4 times, electrocuted, broke a finger, nearly got drowned. And that's just what happened to me.
And he still said the directing was the worst part. Number 16. The world of Dynahattan was designed by David Snyder, the same man who served as art director on Blade Runner. His brief to the team? "We've designed this film with the idea of looking at New York while on some mind-altering drugs. Most people miss what's happening in the background of every street scene. If you notice that all the vehicles in Dynahattan throw sparks instead of exhaust fumes.
You want to give us the rock bag lady?"
That's intentional. Because dinosaurs never went extinct in this world, they never burned fossil fuels. Every vehicle is electric. The sparks are their version of exhaust. Snyder thought that through. The VFX team built it into every single shot. It's sitting right there in the background of every street scene, completely invisible unless you know what you're looking at.
You shouldn't wander around without a weapon.
Yeah.
You got one?
No.
All right. Get him up, sucker!
The film also pioneered technology that's now completely standard across the industry. The Autodesk Flame software and the Kodak Cineon digital scanner were both used here for the first time.
Abandoned cement factory. This mammoth 5-story structure reinforced the production team's motto, "Creativity is transforming what is into what might be."
Techniques that transformed how every major film gets made in post-production were invented on a movie that critics put on their worst of all time lists. Think about that for a second. The toolbox Hollywood uses today was partly assembled inside this chaos. Talk about failing upward, right? Number 15. Bob Hoskins, the man who ended up playing Mario, had no idea the character existed before signing on. He found out from his kids. In his own words,
I didn't even know it was a game. It was my kids that told me. Well, I said, "What's your next film?" I said, "I'm doing Super Mario Brothers." "Oh, that's the game."
They said, "What's your next film?" "I'm doing Super Mario Bros." "Oh, that's the game." And I saw this thing kind of jumping up and down, and I thought, I used to play King Lear.
"Oh, what? Yeah, here. And this is you." And I saw this thing jumping up and down. I thought, I used to play King Lear.
The man went from King Lear to a video game plumber and genuinely did not know the difference when he signed the contract. That's the energy of someone who gets a push notification about a meeting they have no memory of accepting and just shows up anyway. Pure boomer energy, zero context, fully in. Number 14. Let's talk about the man who almost stole the whole thing before it began. Dustin Hoffman tried to buy the Mario film rights himself. His vision? He plays Mario. Danny DeVito plays Luigi. Barry Levinson directs. The same trio behind Wag the Dog, except this time, they're Brooklyn plumbers jumping through pipes. The deal collapsed because DeVito had a scheduling conflict. The entire alternate timeline of a prestige Super Mario Bros. Died because of a calendar clash.
Do you eat?
Yeah,
Dinner?
sure.
Tonight? Tonight?
You know that feeling? When one person's availability kills a group plan, and suddenly the whole thing falls apart? That was this. Except the group plan was a prestige Hollywood film with 3 Oscar winners. And it didn't stop there. Even after the rights went elsewhere, Nintendo's president personally reviewed the remaining candidates and decided Hoffman was not right for the role. Double rejection. Didn't get the rights, didn't get the part. Number 13. 2 weeks before the first day of shooting, the producers secretly hired brand new writers without telling the directors or the already signed cast. They wanted something lighter, more family-friendly. they commissioned the rewrite without telling Rocky Morton or Annabelle Jankel. When Morton found out and called the new writers directly, the producers went absolutely ballistic.
You know the law, Toad! Hey, wait a minute! You can't arrest a guy that's just singing a song!
Morton said, 2 weeks before the first day of principal photography, the script was rewritten. Completely. The directors then had to stand in front of Hoskins, Hopper, and the rest of the cast, and convince them the new script was great. The cast knew it wasn't, but the cameras were booked, and the budget was already moving.
Princess Daisy. What?
This is basically the movie equivalent of a company reorganizing your entire team structure 2 weeks before a product launch and expecting everyone to just act normal. Except with Dennis Hopper, who was not going to act normal.
Kill that plumber!
Daily rewrites from that point forward were printed on different colored paper each day. The crew called it the Rainbow Script. Not because it was cheerful, because by the end, nobody could track which version they were even supposed to be shooting. Number 12. 9 writers. 8 completely different drafts, each one a different genre. It started serious. Barry Morrow, the man who won an Oscar for co-writing Rain Man, wrote the first treatment.
If you're not doing anything later tonight, I would like to walk you home.
The Hollywood nickname for it was Drain Man. Mario as caretaker, Luigi as childlike. Emotional, a drama.
Well, thank you for the ride.
It's a pleasure to meet me. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Then it swung the other way. A 1991 draft modeled on The Wizard of Oz, checkered brick roads, tribes of mushroom people, Koopa as a literal dragon. One of those writers later said, essentially what we did was what Shrek did, but like 10 years too early, and with a much weirder vibe. 9 writers walked into a bar. None of them agreed on what the bar looked like. That's basically the screenplay process here. But one of those drafts was so good, it convinced 3 genuinely talented people to sign their names to this project. And what was in it is the most frustrating thing about this whole story. Number 11. One early draft was heavily inspired by the action movies of the era. It allegedly featured a cheeky nod to Die Hard, with a character, possibly Mario himself, crawling through air ducts in a sequence that mirrored John McClane's. It wasn't a literal Bruce Willis cameo, but a meta tribute. To the action hero vibe, the writers were desperately trying to inject into the Mushroom Kingdom. It also featured a Mario Kart-style death race through the desert. That's the film Hoskins, Dennis Hopper, and production designer David Snyder all agreed to make. A darker, weirder, adult action comedy with a Die Hard Easter egg baked right into the third act. You might be sitting there thinking, wait, that actually sounds incredible. Yeah, it does. They never got to make it, and the person who took it hardest was about to make sure everyone on set knew exactly how he felt about it. Number 10. Hopper discovered his dialogue had been rewritten overnight and erupted. Richard Edson, who played Spike, watched the whole thing.
Wait a minute. We'll follow her and then we'll both go get her.
Good idea. I bag her, you grab her.
No, I grab her, you bag her.
That's what I said.
He's telling them they're completely unprofessional, that he's never seen anything like this.
Where's my pizza?
Hopper screamed for 45 minutes. They called lunch. He kept going. 2 hours total. 300 extras stood waiting on set, while Dennis Hopper lectured the directors for 2 full hours about the state of movie making. Eventually, Morton and Jankel pleaded, "Dennis, please, tell us what you want. We'll do anything." Hopper agreed to shoot the scene, exactly as written, unchanged. The version that started the entire 2-hour meltdown. Edson said the tantrum was better than the movie. I'm gonna let that sentence breathe for a second. Number 9. That wasn't a one-off. A separate incident went even further. The writers cut 4 sentences from a Hopper scene to save production money. Then, and this is my personal favorite detail in this entire story, he made someone go get a dictionary.
Plumbers!
No, he is. I'm just apprenticing.
Get in the car!
But I didn't do nothing.
During the legendary multi-hour blowout, Hopper didn't just scream, he interrogated the logic of the ever-changing script. He actually made one of them look up a word in the dictionary to prove a point about the scene's incoherence. It was a veteran actor having a total existential crisis because the script he signed on for had effectively vanished overnight. My guy was delivering a masterclass in irony, while actively proving the point himself. Those 4 cut sentences cost the entire shooting day, and the cast still had months to go. Number 8. At some point, the cast needed a survival strategy, and what they landed on? To cope, Hoskins and John Leguizamo started drinking scotch between scenes. Leguizamo confirmed it in his memoir. Fiona Shaw added detail. Bob used to get special whiskey sent from England, single malt, and we would drink those copiously in his Caravan. Not just any stress drinking, Hoskins had single malts shipped from England to North Carolina, specifically for a Mario movie. Look, the stakes are different. Bad coffee won't break your finger during a stunt, but the feeling is the same. It's that desperate office move where you lose control of the big project, so you obsess over the one tiny detail you can control. It's the feeling of bringing your own beans to a job you hate. The man had standards, even in disaster. Number 7. Every Sunday, the cast performed Shakespeare on the beach to psychologically recover. Production designer David Snyder confirmed it. Every Sunday, the cast was so unhappy with the turn of the film, they would go to Wrightsville Beach and do Shakespeare, a cleansing. Fiona Shaw said, Bob was Macbeth, and I was Lady Macbeth. We'd have takeout on the table. Bob Hoskins, performing Macbeth on a North Carolina beach, takeout in hand, to forget he was making a Mario movie. There is no note I can add that improves that image. It is complete. But while the cast was doing Shakespeare on Sundays, the director was about to do something in a parking lot on a Tuesday. That tells you everything about how far gone this production really was. Number 6. Director Rocky Morton had spent months creating massive storyboards, 8 feet high, 20 feet long, mapping out the entire film, scene by scene. After the script was rewritten so many times that they became useless, he piled them up in the parking lot and set them on fire. His words, I can remember piling them all up in the parking lot and setting fire to them all because they were detrimental to the film. Not archived, not stored, burned in a parking lot on purpose. There is a specific kind of clarity that comes from watching months of work go up in flames and feeling nothing but relief. If you've ever deleted a project file and immediately felt better, you understand exactly what Rocky Morton felt. Number 5. King Koopa was modeled on Donald Trump.
Do you know what I love about mud? It's clean and it's dirty at the same time.
Bombastic blonde with an unusual hairstyle, skyscraper-dwelling authoritarian, running for re-election as president of his dimension. The film was made in 1992. The Blade Runner art director built Koopa's tower to mirror Trump Tower. Deliberately. And in the movie, Mario eventually turns Koopa into a puddle of primordial slime. The 2016 internet found this immediately. Make of that what you will, but it wasn't an accident, and everyone involved knew exactly what they were doing. And look, maybe you clocked this when you were a kid and just filed it away as a weird feeling. That's completely fair. Some things register before we even have words for them. Now, looking at the weird, dark, electric world they built, would you rather have seen the Prestige version with Dustin Hoffman? Or do you actually prefer the Fever Dream version we got? Type Prestige or Fever in the comments. Number 4. While the production was collapsing, the creature team was building something that stopped Jurassic Park in its tracks. The Yoshi puppet took 5 months to build. 200 feet of cable, 9 puppeteers. It cost $500,000.
Was to cram nearly 200 feet of cable and several hundred moving parts into Yoshi's 3-foot-tall body.
When the Jurassic Park team visited the set, they were so impressed, they briefly considered pulling the Mario team to build a second unit for their own film. Think about that. Jurassic Park. The film rewriting what movie creatures could look like showed up and said, we want that team. Imagine being the Mario crew. Your script is garbage. Everyone is miserable, and then Spielberg's team walks in and says, actually, your dinosaur is better than ours.
For Yoshi, it takes 9 puppeteers. It's fully cable controlled, and then the head itself is all radio controlled.
Number 3. While filming was still underway, Hopper gave an interview to the LA Times. A reporter mentioned that the directors had declined to participate. Hopper's response? That's the smartest thing I've heard from them.
You must be the girls, the missing girls from Brooklyn.
Yes.
Yeah, we froze the pipes. We're going for a little ride.
The day after that article ran, CAA, one of the most powerful agencies in Hollywood, dropped them as clients. No meeting, no call. Gone. Morton said it was the end of our movie careers. The married couple even divorced in 2005. Morton later said the production really destroyed our creative energy together. Number 2. Bob Hoskins didn't just burn bridges. He built a memorial to the ash and gave guided tours. In a 2007 interview, he said, the worst thing I ever did? Super Mario Brothers. The whole experience was a nightmare. It had a husband and wife team directing, whose arrogance had been mistaken for talent.
Yikes. Man, she sure makes an impression.
When a man gives the same answer across a decade, that's not bitterness, that's a position. Number 1. The film grossed $38.9 million against a $48 million budget. Nintendo was so burned, they refused Hollywood for 30 years. Morton's one real regret? If I'd have had a relationship with Miyamoto and brought him on board, he wouldn't have let certain things happen. And then there's Hopper's son. On Conan O'Brien in 2008, Hopper told the story. His 6-year-old son, Henry, said, "Dad, I think you're probably a pretty good actor, but why did you play that terrible guy, King Koopa?" Hopper said, "Well, Henry, I did that so you could have shoes." Henry said, "Dad, I don't need shoes that badly." A 6-year-old delivered the definitive critical review of this film in one sentence. And somehow, the film found its audience anyway. Midnight screenings, packed houses. Rocky Morton attended a sold-out screening at Quentin Tarantino's cinema and said the crowd was laughing and clapping. Not ironically, it's genuine. The most chaotic production in video game movie history became a cult classic. The shoes were worth it, Henry. The 1993 Mario movie almost killed the genre, but just 2 years later, another franchise actually figured out the formula. Check out the story of how Mortal Kombat stepped in to save video game movies next. I'll see you over there.